Good afternoon, Justin.
Good to see you, Wesley.
It's been a minute since we've been together.
I know, right? This is good. I always say, the art of asking the questions. I joke with Greg, like it can be challenging at times. Mm-hmm. We talk about active listening a lot. And so if you're having a conversation with your wife or your husband or your kid, it's like you can just fully engage. You can just listen. But what we do is a little unique, right? Because we have to listen, but also be thinking about where that conversation is going, lead that next question. And sometimes, full confession, like I'll get lost and be like, does that happen to you too when you're asking questions? Because I'll be like at least once every episode, I'm like, oh, wait. Like I'll try to hang on to something Greg will say, but like, I need to follow up with that. That's a good thing. And then at some point it's like he gets going, I'm listening. I'm like, oh no, what was that thing? Anyway, side note. I appreciate you though. I think it's fun to do that.
Yeah.
So.
No, I do get to the, there's been moments more of, probably more with Greg. He'll be talking for an extended period of time. And about halfway through, I quit paying attention to what he's saying, not because I'm like, oh, it's because he has just said something.
You have to lock into that.
Yeah, he said something in that first half where I'm like, I don't need to forget about this. I don't need to forget about this.
That's your technique.
Yeah. So I hope he doesn't say anything.
No, it's good. It's good. It's fun.
That's not to say I'm not paying attention.
I know what you mean. You're good.
Do you think he's going to listen to this episode? Because he's going to come at me and be like, Wes, you don't listen to what I'm saying?
No, he knows. He's going
to take me out back.
He loves you, man.
All right, so presented with the opportunity to meet with you today, and you were like, what do you want to talk about? And so for the audience, I think I've said this multiple times when we've been together. I was a brand new believer coming to college. You discipled me through college. So we had a lot of opportunities throughout college when I was in college, which was 10 years ago. I turned 30 this month, by the way.
That's wild.
Yep. Where we would either go to lunch, we'd be sitting in your office, doing something on campus, whatever, and it would just be, hey, Justin, I have questions about this. Or you already had you were guiding the conversation where you wanted to go, and we'd get to a certain topic. And there would be just basically you were older than me, or to been where I was at before in life, giving me just practical wisdom that you learn, add on some biblical wisdom there. And so I thought, man, dude, I'm entering into a new stage of life, which a lot of my friends are as well, and some other people listening to this are as well, that you've already walked through. And I'm like, well, let's do the same thing that we used to do back then. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
And so here's the situation. So my daughter turns 3 in November, and she is absolutely beautiful, looks just like her mom, acts like me. It's a lot of fun. And we've just found out we're pregnant with a little boy.
Congratulations.
Be born beginning of April. First week of turkey season in Iowa. Didn't plan that out too good, but hey, it's okay.
That's right. You're good.
For his birthday in the future, that's what we'll be doing. Side note, my daughter was born opening week of duck season, and now son being open week, whatever. Sorry.
Something the Lord's teaching you in that.
So in this conversation is I'm learning about raising a little girl. Okay. And you also have raised a little girl who's now a teenage girl and entering a new stage of life there. But you also have 3 boys. They're all 3 in different stages of life. How old's
Drake's turning 13 soon. He's in full teenage mode. Got the mustache and all that good stuff.
I'm about to say he's turned into a young man. Kind of because he was little when
I saw a picture of him like 2 years ago and from 2 years ago, and he's grown. It's crazy.
I remember when Brooke told us that she was pregnant with Max. And
that's wild.
10?
Yeah, he was born in 2014.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And she told us when she was pregnant with Miles. It was like a whole.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. So now that I'm about to have a boy, and you've raised these boys, and you've done from unbiased third party opinion, I'm like, he's doing pretty good, And
well, thank you. Raising,
yes,
current, present tense.
But you're far ahead of me.
Let's see how I did.
Yeah, you're far ahead of me. And so with that, I just am like, Justin, what do I do? Because they're completely different.
Yeah.
A little girl, like the way I even feel about my little girl, I was messing with you about this earlier, but it's true. I don't want her to ever grow up.
Yeah.
I want her to be 3 forever. And then when we found out we were having a boy, I was like, I got to figure out how to turn him into a man and like, so that he can go take on the world.
Yeah.
I want my little girl to never go out in the world. And I want my little boy to grow up into be a man to go and positively affect the world.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just right off the jump. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So how do you,
well, if we can, thank you for that. And I will say, I'm glad that in the very beginning, Greg established, we call this the Truth of Wisdom podcast, but it's not, because we have really, I mean, we're all learning, right? I mean, in all fairness, so we're not experts in it. We're learning, and full confession, like we're right in the middle of it. Like I kind of feel like it's like if you look at it, generally speaking, let's say you get 18 years with a child before they're leaving to go to college. It's like, okay, we got, on average, I know some situations can be unique, but generally speaking, you get 18, right? 18-ish years where you get to invest, pour into, lead, guide, discipline, all the things. And then they're off. And even in college is that kind of interesting in between where they're still under your umbrella, but they're kind of like learning to, so it's the transition phase,
trying to
right?
become this adult.
Yeah, because after that they're going to get a job and they're like full, like, but it's happening. So I feel like there's some growing up that naturally is they're out from under your wings, even though they're still kind of under your authority, right?
Yep.
They're still, and working with college students, that can be a challenging season, right? Because like, wait, and so you, as a student, it's like, how do I honor my mom and dad? I'm still under authority, but I'm also kind of in this weird, so that's all that to say that when you ask me that, I think big picture, because we could bring someone else on the table, like a Greg, who all his kids are in college or beyond, 2 are married. So you've got people, and then you got others who have grandkids who are like our kids' age, right? So
yeah.
But let's just say this, ladies, is it fair to say this will be a fun conversation because we're both admitting that, hey, like I've always said this, the best way, the first step in being a good parent is to admit you don't know what you're doing.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
Like I've always been a little leery with the people who come in and they got like if you've got some issue and they're just like, oh, well, you just need to, and they just give you these, and it's like, something's a little off with that. I don't trust that.
The moment where I was like, oh my goodness, was when we got home from the hospital with Charlotte. My mother-in-law was with us, and she just Charlotte started like coughing on this phlegm, whatever, baby junk that was still in her.
Yeah.
And we thought like she's not breathing anymore, but she was just trying to cough it up. And after she coughed it up, everything was fine. I just looked at my mother-in-law. I'm like, what do we do now? And my mother-in-law was just like, she's fine. And I was just like, are you promise?
I know. So as long as that's our foundation for this conversation, I'm good with it.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm coming to this conversation realizing that, I have made a lot of mistakes. And I think that, I've heard someone say once when like God has rebuked them and corrected them and exposed some of their sin through their wife and their kids more than anything else. Right? Like think about that though. Like the people that you spend the most time with, God will expose some sin in you through those relationships.
Yeah.
And as Greg's pointed out lately in our sermons, like that he's walking us through, like what's the Hebrew ones, right? No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. There's painful lessons in parenting, and sometimes it's because you realize like, oh wait, I got some stuff I need to get right. So that's there too. So, I don't have it all figured out,
sure.
But it's a fun conversation because it gets me thinking. Like, so I love that you're thinking that and that you want to understand, like, okay, there's going to be some things that probably look a little different, and you would be right, and every home's different. Every like marriage, it has a different dynamic and rhythm to it, right? And so you got kids with different personalities, and so all of it can vary. I do think there are some. The good news is I don't think it has to be as complicated as we make it, right? I really don't. I think that if we can admit we have a lot to learn, and that we joke saying like we don't know what we're doing, but really what you're saying is there's a humility to say like, okay, I have a lot to learn. So I'm thankful that the Holy Spirit is our God and our teacher, and we're surrounded by good, godly men and women in our church. So if I'm paying attention, and I can ask good questions, and I can be mindful, because I don't think you can tackle parenting. It's not, and I know there's a lot of books written on parenting. Some of them are great. It's great. Okay, good. But I don't think you can read a book and then that means I'm a good parent. Like it doesn't equal that. It's the school of hard knocks, man. It's like there's some lessons that can only be learned by you getting in there and like actually doing it and trying to do it well.
Yeah.
So I think when, going to your original question, which is like, what does that look like? I've got this 3-year-old little daughter. I love her. I'm learning. Man, how do I get ready for the boy? Is that kind of what you're asking?
And here, let me start you off with this question. So the way our week flows, so my wife's a school teacher at a local school district here in town. They only do a 4-day school week, Tuesday to Friday.
Yep.
Right? And then where we work at here, our work is Sunday to Thursday, and so we get Friday off.
Yes.
And so my wife stays home with her on Mondays. She goes to where she goes to childcare Tuesday to Thursday, and then I'm with her on Fridays.
Yeah.
Okay. And those Fridays are some of the greatest.
Yeah.
I look forward to it every day. It's just me and her. We have these things that we go and we do, play. It's a great thing. And so I have these intentional moments with my daughter.
Yeah.
All right, now we're about to throw another kid in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to be able to continue to give her the intentional time that she needs.
Yeah.
But then I also want to give this kid the most intentional time. And this kid, his name's Nathan, by the way. That's his name.
Nice, bro.
I want to give him the most intentional time. Well, you have 4 of them. So how have you found ways to give intentional time to my daughter, to this son, who's different than this son, who's different than this son, So how do you...
I had a good friend of mine, and he's down in El Dorado, good godly man. And, it's just good when you got good friends in your life. He has 5 children. And I was kind of struggling with what you were struggling with. I think we were getting ready to have Miles. Mm-hmm. So we were getting ready to have our 4th kid. And I was already feeling like 3. I was like, man, how do you... And he had 5. They're all a few years older than ours. So anyway, he's a little ahead of me in the journey. So I was like, man, how do you do that? I was asking him that question. I didn't even have to ask him again because I can't remember exactly what he said. But I remember it gave me a lot of freedom because what he was saying was it's not always like equal. Right? But over the course of a week and a month, like it is, right? But it's not like every day he sits down and like has equal time with everybody.
Sure.
So that was a little bit of, he said it in a way that really helped me just deep. Okay. So, but yeah, you're asking the right question as far as like, how does that look like? And every day's a little different. And I think for me, I can just only express like our kind of how it works, and what's worked out with me is that I like that is that I've always, working with college students, I always say, hey, I want them to graduate with 4 things: heart for God, heart for people, a love for the local church, and spirit-led, right? Like learning to be spirit-led is an art. Like it is, man. It's not like, these scriptures like keep in step with the Spirit, right? Like, so if everyone who trusts in Christ, like, and has put their faith in, we have the Holy Spirit, right? But those commands of keep in step, I was like, what does that mean? Yeah. What does that look like? Well, it's like, good question, right? But I'm saying that does apply to parenting. And so there's, being mindful of the flow of a given day, no matter what your schedule is, and combining scriptures. And we have a church member, I asked him one time, man, what are you up to? And he's like, man, I'm connecting dots. And I was like, bro, I like that, right? He's like, but the dots we're connecting are this. It's like these biblical truths, like make the most of every opportunity, right? Don't let anything unwholesome come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful to building others up according to their needs. Well, that applies to you and your children. So how am I aware of my children's needs? How do I start making combinations and connecting dots of, okay, making the most of every opportunity, knowing my primary role is to disciple these kids. Like, as my professor used to say, you flunk at home, you flunk everything, right? I love that. And of course, God can redeem, but I'm saying there are legit consequences that we talked about recently on this podcast. Like, I don't want to miss the opportunity I have in my home to do my job as a father to spiritually lead these children. That's a big task, right? So how do I make the most of every opportunity and do that? Like, that's the art of it. And I'd love to tell you I have that figured out. I don't, bro. I don't. But I'm at least observing that that's my job. Like, my job is, and so what I'm trying to say is that every week looks a little different. Every day looks a little different. But I'm trying to do my job to be aware, because as your kids get older, I'm at least far enough in the journey to know this. Every child is, of course, going to have a different personality. They're also going to have different strengths and different If you want to be positive, you can call them growth areas. If you want to be honest, you can say weaknesses, right? It's like we all have that. We all do.
Yeah.
But as a dad, your job is to know that and to pray that God will give you opportunities to, as Greg would say, like tee up that conversation sometimes. Because just because you see it in a child doesn't mean you get to go to them and immediately be like, hey, we got, man, it's much better if those are teed up. I love how Greg's challenges with that. Like, hey, if you have a discernment in a situation, don't just go blazing in trying to have that conversation. Like, pray that God would tee it up. And God does that in parenting. Like, but sometimes it requires a lot of patience. And so I do remember if I'm going back to 3, 4 years old and 3 and newborn, a lot of it, you're just spending time, right? What you're doing in that, this is fun. I hadn't thought about this, Wes. This is crazy, but maybe. I mean, people further along, I'd be curious what they would say. But I think in those early days when it's like that, bro, I feel like Brooke and I, what we have now in our home between like let's call it 9 through 15-year-olds, we earned some of this because of what we did in those early years.
What did you do in those early years?
Everything. You're like, dude, just like I'm laughing because it's all the lack of sleep, the nights, you didn't get a lot of sleep, but you're still showing kindness and patience, you're still, when you do lose it and you have to tell your 5-year-old, hey, you know what? Daddy was wrong. Like you're going to have some of those moments so you're not perfect. You're going to make mistakes if you're honest with your children. So you kind of lay a foundation for that early on. Like, hey, Charlotte, I'm sorry. Like Daddy should, whatever, right? Like, if that hadn't happened already, it's probably coming. So, I'm not asking freaking, you ain't got to tell me. It's like, I think, but just being faithful to, man, hold babies, just wake up in the middle of the night, all the things parents do to take care of children, like when they're in the earliest of stages. And then as they get older, I know you and Greg I think on this podcast, I heard y'all talking about, discipline and, whatever that looks like. But it's like that somehow has got to be in the mix, right? Because, if you spare that, what does the scripture say?
Spoil the child, yeah.
And so that's, and whatever that looks like, and you're trying to figure that out, and you're, so I think just walking through that season, right? And because I will tell you, man, like it's really interesting to me. This is like the third time in like a couple weeks where for some reason somebody's asked me about, and it's just interesting because I feel like I'm in a halfway point, Wesley. It's like, man, how are we doing? Because there's been moments I feel like Brooke and I are like, we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah,
that's
you feel fair. I feel you.
But I will say, man, it's fun. I do feel like when you stay in the game and you stay faithful to, call stuff what it is. I remember it was really encouraging for me to hear Greg say, hey, this is when his kids were little, like, my job's not to make my kids my best friend. Like, I don't care if they like me right now. That you need to know this. And this is what we're doing. It's like, and so many parents kind of cave because they want their kids to like them. Oddly enough, he has a great relationship of his children who are grown up now.
I love it. Yeah, all three of them turned out.
But he had to. But what did he do? He earned that.
Yeah.
By having some moments of like, I don't care if you like me or not right now.
This is right and this is wrong. Yeah.
So a lot of that, being faithful to a whole lot of that, and never throwing in the towel on that, I think earns you some cool rewards later.
Okay, very good. Now, do you have? I stole this from another pastor that I, listened to.
Sure.
I steal a lot of things, and when I say steal,
let's clarify because
so
you like the idea, and we run with those.
Yeah. So I'm not a big in my truck listen to music guy. I'm more of a educational. Like I want to listen to a podcast.
You got me curious, man. What'd you hear?
So from one guy, he made a very clear. I'm young into the ministerial game. I want to learn what it means to be a pastor. Watching Greg, I like what he does. Listen to other guys that have proven themselves. He said I made a very clear statement or definition or personal. Like if you want to ask me who I am and what I want out of life, boom, here's your answer. So I made one for myself because it also helps. Like if a decision comes down the road to make one, if it doesn't help me do this, then it's a no. If it does, then it's a yes.
All right.
Things like that. And then it went to there. Well, now I want one for my home. And I want to clearly define that with my wife so that when we're making decisions, well, is this going to help us do this?
Sure.
Right? And now I'm like, should I have one for my kids? Not impose it on them, but more of like whenever they turn 18 and somebody asks them, hey, tell me about your dad.
Yeah.
What do I want my kids to say about my dad? Have you ever had those thoughts before?
Yeah, I've thought about like we got a few years left with our daughter before she's off to college. Like, what do I want her to be able to like?
Yeah, okay.
know?
Here's the question because I was talking to my wife about this. It was the first week of school, and we had just left that lunch that you put on for college students every beginning of every school year. Okay. And you just kind of see them all sitting at the table trying to figure out who to talk to, whatever. And I had this thought because Charlotte was with us, and I was like, whenever Charlotte goes to school somewhere and somebody asks, hey, where, the common questions are, where are you from?
Yep.
And what degree are you getting? Okay.
Yep.
What if somebody asks her, what's your family like?
Yeah.
What is she going to say?
Yeah.
So now, continue. Sorry.
No, it's good. So what
have you had those thoughts?
Oh man, for sure. Yes. And I've told college students for the last like probably 4 years for sure, like, hey, I didn't anticipate that college ministry is a great prep for future parenting. Like, because my kids pretty soon will be that age.
Yes.
And having worked years with that age, it's helped. Right. And the older I'm in this game, I feel like I'm kind of entering the dad phase of guys like, so I kind of talk to, I can enter these conversations like and I've even found myself saying that to some students like, hey, do you mind if I answer that like I would my daughter? And this is what I would tell her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think about that. Like in like what will she leave with and what will she say? And I think we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And I think one thing that freed me up when it came to that was like, sure, is there a list of things I would hope that they would have? Yeah. And do I have that list written down? No. But I think more than anything, I think what I would want them to know is like, what's the greatest thing for us to remember when it comes to us and God? I mean, honestly, like, what do you think? I mean, that's
when
kind
it becomes,
of a big question.
So what's the,
like as we're living this life trying to like do us good and right.
What do we need to
what
remember
is
about
one
God?
of the most important things for us to, I don't know. I'll
maybe, all right. You asking me to answer this?
Sure.
And obviously you tell me,
no, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer.
The thing to remember about us and God once we've been made right with him through his son is that he loves us the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Like there's nothing more I can do.
I agree. Like this is I agree. Like what is the one that we are children of God and that is what we are. It's like like man, like I'm loved by a heavenly Father that's so I don't deserve that. Like man, I'm so grateful. And there's nothing I can do or not do that can make his love increase or decrease. Like it is. Right? Now, I can do things that displease him. I can do things that, like there's that.
Yeah.
It's a reality. But it's like, man, I love that analogy because I feel like it helped me like make parenting very simple. Like if my kids leave for college and they like, man, my daddy like loves me. Now, you got to define. We've had conversations on this podcast about love.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I always let you do what you want to do. Sometimes it means I push you to do things you don't want to do for the sole purpose of you need to learn some things. You need to learn to do things you're not comfortable with. Like it's okay to be uncomfortable at times. Like if it's for the right reason, right? Like it's okay. We're going to talk about assertiveness. We're learning this, man. We're having conversations about, hey, like one biggest flaw I see in parents right now is, dude, they step into everything. I'm like, stop. Dude, stop, man. Like, what are y'all doing? You're fools, man. Like you think that you're helping that child, but you're cutting their legs out from under them. They're not going to know how to function.
Yeah.
And so you have parents who step in, whether it comes to sports or church or whatever. Dude, you need to do this for my kid. Dude, I've made a decision early on. It's like, well, let's just take sports, for example. It would take, there are scenarios you need to go talk to somebody, right? But if we're talking about like playtime, what is like, that is not my job, right? If we're talking about safety, that's another issue. But if we're talking about just like sports the way they work, man, that is a great opportunity for you to tell you, like, you can guide in the home, but then you allow them to go work it out.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And it's a lot of fun, whether it's conflict with whatever, like you can have conflicts on teams, conflicts with friends, conflicts like, but the goal is that you don't intervene in all those things unless it might come to, but this, dude, what's fun is you have this home where you're providing guidance and space where you can have to equip them, and then they get to go try to fit, and they do, and it's harder to do that. It's a quicker step for a parent to come storming down somewhere and like let somebody know something, but it's like, is it really helping that child?
So here's my
for
question:
the long haul.
Is it so for your daughter? Is it are you softer and more gentler with her with discipline, and even these situations where it's like, like the thought of her, which does Hallie play sports?
No, she loves dance
and all stuff.
Yeah,
let's just say she is equally involved in sports as Drake is, and she's not getting to play. And you're like, man, do you think if it's your daughter, because you have this dad feeling of your daughter, like you're going to be way more, you'll have to try way harder not to come down because that's my little girl, versus it's your son. It's like, hey man, you need to.
That's
if
where
you want it, you got to work harder. You know.
Yeah. No, I think
there's a difference between.
There is certainly a difference between boys and girls, but I do think there's some general just guidance that is very much the same.
Yeah.
So there's a little freedom with that, right? Because I'm telling you, like, sure, like, are there, as far as we're talking about like raising boys, raising girls, is there a difference? Like if your little girl falls down, it's like different than if your boy falls down. It's like, all right, you know, I mean, you kind of know, it's like, all right, dude, you're okay. Get up. Your girl falls down. You're like, baby, you okay? I got you.
Let me kiss you.
You know, yeah, that kind of stuff. Like that's different. But maybe I'm just thinking out loud. We said from the beginning, we're just having a conversation. We're learning as we go. But it does feel like I don't think that that's very different as far as they get older and whatever they're dealing with, the guidance. Does that make sense? Like it's not. In other words, it's a lot simpler. So if you're being spirit led, there's conversations that you have, whether it's son or daughter. The way that conversation goes, it may look different, of course. All right, but again, that's why I'm going back to like speaking only what is helpful to building us up according to their needs, because what they need is just because it's a boy doesn't mean they need this thing. Right? I mean, I got 3 of them. Well, you could put those 3 boys in 3 same situations, but what they need might be different. Yeah, because they're different. Yeah, the way their minds process in this situation is different. The way they're experiencing this situation, it's the same situation, but it requires a different response. Why? Because it's a different human being. It's a different creation of God. It's a different child of God. Like, so I've got to do the homework. I can't just go, and that's what I don't like about parents who make the mistake of like they read a book and they're like, all right, well then this is how you do this. And then we're real bad about that. As Christians in general, it's like, oh, we think, and so we read something and now we're an expert. So when this situation comes up, we're like, this is how I'm going to handle it. It's like, really? Like, I think we need a little more keeping in step with the Spirit into our parenting, which means that I've got to be mindful of this might be the same situation, but I might not need to handle this the same way. Yeah. Am I really listening? And am I really paying attention to this child? Whether it's my son or my daughter, like I've got to do my homework and be sensitive to God's Spirit and be looking for the opportunity and making the most of our opportunity so that when these things come up, I'm ready for it. And it's like, oh, God, this is the teed up thing. And sometimes you, with parenting, and I bet Greg would affirm this, sometimes with parenting, you don't have to wait for something to tee up. It's just like, we got to have this conversation happening right now. Yeah. And you ain't going, you don't get to talk back right now. Like there's times we engage in conversation. There's times you just sit and listen. I'm going to say some things and then I'm leaving. It's like, no, I mean, really. I know,
I hear you.
It's like that's good parenting at times. Now you can't do that every time. Sure. If you do that every time, we've jumped the shark or whatever we say. Like we've missed something, right? Yeah. But there are moments for that. But that's the Spirit-led part of it that makes it fun and it makes it harder. I think that's probably why we're so susceptible to go to just this situation, this is what you do. That's easy. It's not effective though. It's not efficient, and it's not what was needed in the moment. So I don't know if that answers your question. It's a lot. It's kind of answering it without answering it. I'm sorry, Wes.
That's okay. I mean, if I could gather one thing from this, it's like, well, Wes, there is a difference between raising a little girl and a little boy, but you know what? You're going to have one human being in Charlotte, one human being in Nathan. You need to figure out those two human beings because it's your job as their dad to figure them out.
Yeah.
And raise them accordingly.
That's right. And you have the Spirit of God in you to help you with that. And you got your bride who
that's
the
another
beauty
great
of teamwork.
point.
I mean, come on, like there's times when your spouse, so because we have husbands and wives, listen, like I don't know who's, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so our wives are going to see things that we can't see at the moment.
I've seen that happen so many times since having Charlotte.
And and the beauty is then you are able to have a conversation. You're like, oh, you're right. Mm-hmm. Okay, man. And then you know what's fun about parenting is there's been times where, you know, it's like teamwork. So you and your wife are getting together like, all right, I think this is best for you to have that conversation.
Okay.
You know, and it's like, okay, you're right. And I was like, hey, you know, and sometimes this mama's got it and sometimes you got it. Sometimes you both have it. Like, but I do like that dynamic. That's a huge piece of the pie that I know we're just now touching on. But.
Have you seen, with regards to having that conversation with your wife where, hey, I think it's best you talk to them about this, whatever, that she has more conversations with your daughter and you have more conversations with your son? Or could you say, well, bro, it really just kind of depends on the topic?
It depends on the topic and it depends on the time. So, you know, that's the other thing with parenting that can be a challenge is that you can think that you're going to walk. Like if we have a lunch with a college student, there's an expectation that they're probably going to engage in that conversation. Like 99 of 100 times, like I'm going to get engagement, right? Mm-hmm. Like very rarely is a student just kind of shut down.
Yeah.
But with kids, bro, you might, and it's not like, bro, it's just like you can't. Mm-hmm. You can ask. We can do the study on all the questions, bro. Yep. Don't ask yes or no questions. Let's ask questions that have. Like that really get them thinking. It's like, no, like, I mean, you know, it's like, what do we do? So that's where it's so funny, man, because you just never know when God's gonna kind of present itself. And you know what I'm learning right now? This is again, we're at halftime, Wes. Like we're kind of right there in the middle. But what I'm learning is, I'll be ready for a conversation that I feel like needs to happen, and if I try to make it happen, it never goes good. But then it comes when I least expect it, and then something. I'm like, wait, now, like right now, like this is happening. Okay, and I have to be aware of that and be like, all right, this is it. This is happening. I didn't expect this. Is kind of hilarious that this is right now, like right now, like in this, like I know that may not make sense right now, but it's been really fun to pay attention to that and get really surprised by when some of those conversations happen. So. I don't know if that makes sense, but
it does.
You're going to do great, man.
Hey, thanks. And here's also just an open, I'm going to look at the camera. Those of you listening that have raised children, if you have any wisdom, not only to give to myself, but there are a lot of people in our church that are in the same shoes as me.
Yep.
Like young dads, young moms.
And
on the flip side, give it to us. We need it.
I'm going to say on the flip side, can I throw out another challenge?
Yes, sir.
If you are the parent, and you've done this, dude, I mean, you're doing it now, but I think to those that, you know, man, don't miss the opportunity to ask those people you just pointed to and ask, like to go to them and say, hey, how did y'all handle this? Yeah. Because if both of those things are happening, then we're all learning. And you can do that with all things, right? I mean, that's the goal. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we never figured out, man, but it's fun. It's fun to be at this season, and we've had good men ahead of us like Greg, you know, who have set the standard for, okay, and, you know, it's been really neat to be around long enough to have seen him parent through some of those seasons that were, you know, some of the teenage stuff or whatever, and to know that, okay, that's the goal. He's got a great relationship with his kids. That's the goal.
Yeah.
But I know what he did early on because he shared some of it. It's like, okay, so you do earn that, and I think he's reaping rewards of that now, and anyway, it's good stuff, man. I'm learning too, bro. I'm learning.
It's a lot of fun.
It is fun.
Anyways, well, I'm glad we had this conversation.
Hey, thank you.
Glad we did it. All right.
It's been good.